All right, so we here, and we are back again. This is one gonna be for Chris Rock and Will Smith. Uh, I'm just gonna let you know throughout this video, this is entertainment purposes for clickbait because I know that this is a hot topic, but I'm not gonna talk about actually the physical altercation. I'm gonna be more or less talking about the money. Um, you know, coming from the both backgrounds, Chris Rock is from Brooklyn and New York, and Will Smith is from Philly. Two different backgrounds. You know, from up impoverished areas. With the intent of growing up and of all kids to make some or be some of themselves. And from that point, they're going to be growing up. Right now in society, um, just as we are. And as kids, like I said, had a rough life, overcame different obstacles. Uh, Chris took a liking to comedy, far as Will Smith take a liking to rap. And one of the biggest things um, about both of them in their career was they had multiple jobs and they pretty much just never stopped trying. You know, Honestly, both of these guys are close friends. As you see in the picture, that was a picture previous before the slap. So, you know, they know of each other. But, the biggest thing is, like I said, I want to touch on is mainly due to their, friendship. And we're going to talk about the net worth, the jobs that they do, and pretty much how it impact their families and stuff from there. Chris actually next to the sum of his net worth is at $60 million. You know, but that doesn't discredit all the things that he's achieved in his life. And voiceover acting. You know, so with those up under his belt, he did pretty well for himself. You know, his main thing was a stand-up comedian, which he excelled in. Then he went on to writing, producing, and believe it or not, some people might have known he was one of the producers in Saw. Because he was very interested in the sequel. So he got together and see what he could do about that. Um, Now let's go to Will. Will is worth about $350 million. You know, and with Will, we all know Will from rapping back in the early '80s. Everybody know the classic "Summertime." Parents just don't understand. With and later from that became screenwriting, producing, executive producing in The Fresh Prince, and so forth, as far as acting wise. He has made tons of movies many black people know of, but he still maintained himself as a wholesome, clean artist. You know, and going into the family history, Will was married before, had a previous child within that marriage, but he mostly keeps himself out of the limelight, as far as the other kids from Jada. the two kids that he has through Jada, they're pretty much out in the limelight, celebrity kids, celebrity status. So, they have their own careers and they do things for themselves. And, you know, like I said, from the family history, Will has got a divorce, got remarried, has three kids total. Chris Rock actually got a divorce, a couple of years back. He has two daughters, and from those two daughters, good, nice, wholesome young ladies. You know, not so much really about them, but they did go to college. Making productive moves for themselves and things of that nature. Like with Will Otis, tend to stay out of the light only when representing when it deals with the family structure. But as far as like I say, the money wise and the big difference, Will has accomplished a lot in his career and in his life, and has different charities. So is Chris, you know, starting and also contributing to, you know, and that's the makings of the family. You know, if anything was to happen to Will, Will has, from his first child to the last two kids, they're going to be well taken care of. Jada, and I assume his ex-wife is still in the, Will, because they still remain friends. They're still close. She was actually at the Oscars and took a picture with the trophy. Say the least, when it comes down to the family structure, they pretty much, are intact family, all work together for the greater good, in my opinion, is for the kids. And that's how the family structure should be, you know. And when it comes down to it, I really didn't do too much research on the spouses, you know, for the simple fact is with their lives, it's more tend to be private. I mean, even though Jada's in the open because she's an actor, but at the same time, the main focus was going to be mostly on these two guys and their network, what they've done, what they've accomplished, and for the most part, the gains and losses. Will stands to make it take a significant hit with this as far as career or probably gain popularity because honestly speaking, the Oscars haven't had this much talk about them in years. The rates were declining, and so basically this is the reason why I wanted to talk about this. Rates being declining, the viewership, and it's all about numbers. When you're dealing with money, you're dealing with the politics, it's all about numbers. So, the fact of the matter, the situation at hand that happened, for the most part, this is a win for the Oscars. The viewership was declining, especially like I said the other day after the issue with Kevin Hart. You know, they took a major hit for that, for not, really letting Kevin go over a comment he made years ago. I mean, and that's the way of, society and acting in Hollywood. They want to bring up any and everything dirt to make it, I guess, fall on your knees to apologize. And Kevin wasn't having it. And, I was glad that he stood for something instead of falling for anything. Shout out to Jay Prince with that comment. But, when it comes down to it, the money is the big key. The money is the motivator. And a lot of people got to understand, in this situation, both parties are able to take a hit and still, come back. As Gold Professor spoke on yesterday, the average Joe doing something like that, that's a whole lot of consequences behind it. If you were to hit someone, you have to account for your pocket, your losses, possibly jail time, all due to your feelings. You know, I heard a guy yesterday was talking, and he was saying that he was dealing with contracts, and the guy, explained to him how he messed up on the contract and gave him a raw deal. He wanted to renegotiate the contract. The guy was told him no, and cussed him out, took the contract, tore it up. That's business. In that instance, he wanted to hit the guy and all this. That's totally different, and he would have lost major money. He was in another country, which actually he got kicked out. And with this guy being the influence that he was trying to get the contract deal with, he would have made it to where he wouldn't have got contracts through anybody else and been pretty much banned or blacklisted in that country. To the point where, feelings are set aside in business. Honestly, quiet as kept. Looking at the way Puffy handled things on a business level, Puffy does things for the greater good of his business. As far as a friend wise, he don't mix the two. You know, I seen a producer actually go at Puffy about giving him a bad deal because when he read the actual contract, he found out Puffy will be getting paid at least, at minimum, twice in the deal. He'll get paid on the label side. He'll get paid on the producer side, even though he's doing all the work. Puffy's a producer himself. All Puffy has to do is mix it, listen to it, and there you go. I mean, you got to look at the real details about this. When it comes down to doctors will come in there at least, two to three doctors. Most of the time, depending on the severity of the injuries, you'll have a doctor come in, and Alonzo said this once before. He had a doctor come in, look at him, subscribe him some ibuprofen. Got paid $1,200 just for giving him one pill. You have another doctor comes in and say, "Yep, that's a sprained ankle. I see it in the chart. I'm a specialist in this. 18 to $3,000 just becoming in because he's a specialist. He actually gets paid more." See, once you start looking into the devil in details, you'll start understanding as far as business, money, and their relations. Going back to the whole situation with the guy in the contract. Even though he seen that the contract deal was bad, it was the two things he had to do. Out of the contract by pointing out flaws in the contract that can't be upheld, due to codes and standards, or, not do the work and get sued. And luckily he took the better route, in which did his homework and found out actually, he didn't have to adhere to the contract. And basically that's what I'm going into with Will, and Chris. There are some things that, in my opinion, that was, issued out to whether it being real or fake, it was a moment to where even if Chris didn't even know that Will was going to do it, and Will's intent was, just to go left because of respect, because we can go through the whole, was it fake, was it real, was it an act, wasn't it an act? But like I said, in most cases, it's a win for the Oscars. All this drama and everything, I wouldn't be surprised if next year, and I'm saying this so people will know, that Will and Chris are hosting the Oscars next year out of show of good faith that they're cool and they're friends. That'll be a good thing. And the skit comes out, that Will comes out and get ready to slap Chris, and Chris slaps him back. I mean, it's entertainment. A lot of people are gonna go look at it, and it's gonna bring up the Oscars numbers. Like I said, Oscars been falling constantly because, there's a lack of viewership. Everybody's mostly on YouTube, on social media. That's the first thing that everybody found out about this and went straight over there to go see. To the extent most people don't even have cable TV and watch basic TV anyway. Everybody has all these streaming services as far as the young kids. And I would actually say only generation that actually still watches, you know, the Oscars are the older generation, the people that are wanting to break into the industry of acting or producing. Then you have the fashion industry. A lot of people that are soon absorbed into the fashion culture, they look for the clothes. You know, other than that, the younger generation is not looking at the Oscars. You know, they barely look at BET if you know within the black community. Even the younger white kids, they barely look at B. They barely look at BET every once in a while. And that was a haven for a lot of people. You know, to an extent, all the award shows, especially due to TV on the decline, they're losing viewership. They have to have some type of hype or something for the viewers to, be entertained and come in. You know, big rap and, music heads, they tend to watch it because it's appealing to them, just like the people who are into fashion watch the Oscars due to the dresses, the suits, because everything is appealing to the eye of those people. So when it comes down to it, like I said, it was just a win for the Oscars. Oscars has taken the tank every year as far as the numbers. You know, if we looking at the numbers, that's money. Why do you think the Super Bowl tries to keep these big old shows, halftime shows? They try to get the best commercials in there. When you have so many people viewing the Super Bowl with the advertisement and the money getting paid off of that, that's the ticket. So, like I said, next year, I wouldn't be surprised if the Oscars would get Chris Rock and Will Smith to host. Start off the skit with a slap, you know, because you got to look at the big numbers. Like I said, Chris Rock is worth about 60. Oh, my mic, yeah, my mic is in. Yeah, but Chris Rock is worth about 60 mil net worth, and Will Smith is 350. You know, and when it comes down to it, both actors are good at what they do. You know, Chris started off, like I said, as a comedian, got into the game, producing, writing, same thing as Will. Both of them on the acting side, and as far as the Will being a rapper, their careers took off for the greater good. But you got to actually look at the numbers. You know, dealing with the family, dealing with the structure. You know, this was a win for both of them. It's good publicity. I mean, honestly, advertisement of a slap. You know, there's some Ayana fixed my life in the making. A Will, suffering from mental. I mean, honestly, we can say all day that a lot of people suffer from mental, grief or issues going on down the line. That probably played a key part in it. But at the same time, you got to start looking at the greater picture. You know, these guys go through their issues and their struggles. They have money to actually work through these. You know, if Will has any, problem with Jada, simply as kept, he could have been divorced Jada. And all this Will being squeaky clean, I really don't get it when it comes to a lot of people thinking that, you know, because the rumors, I mean, honestly, it's their life. I don't really care. But, the rumors have already been put out. They had an open marriage. You know, I was listening to one channel that someone's talking about the cook was saying that they did what they did. It just was a thing, not to get caught in public eye. And most marriages are always like that. Just never bring things to the light to embarrass me, you know. And in most cases, it's more or less the women that are actually embarrassed than the men. So for the guys that are always, going their will, I just sit here and laugh like, y'all think Will is squeaky clean and innocent of all this? I mean, I understand that it's going into the man space that we're going to, believe and give the man wholeheartedly. But I mean, truth is truth and facts are facts, man. The numbers don't lie. When it comes down to it, people got to understand, like, I just don't get it. I mean, I try to have this mind like everybody else to say, yeah, no, I don't look at it like that. I mean, facts. Gold Professor says it best. Either your math is right or your math is wrong. There's no in there's no in between. You know, what's his name? Samuel Jackson said he don't even argue with fools anymore. He said if somebody tell him uh, two plus two is five, he said yeah, because you add the one in between the two twos. And it was a hilarious joke, but it's true. When it comes down to it, most of the time you just don't need to be arguing with because the mindset in which, if you believe it, I can't steer you away. Like I say, this whole gender war thing, you know, if a man truly believes in something, he's going to believe it whether you try to change his mind or not. Same appealing to a woman, you know. In the end, you just have to move accordingly and move for the greater good or the betterment of you, you know. Everybody's not made equal. Everybody goes through their struggles and their issues in life, but at the same time, we got to overcome this stuff. You know, if you have mental issues, there's doctors and therapists, that can work you through there. There's pills, medicine that they can subscribe for you. You know, if you're dealing with depression, same on that end. You know, the biggest thing is with a lot of people, they take some of this stuff a little bit too hard. And when it comes down to it, a lot of this stuff going on in the industry, a lot of people, you take this for face value. And the crazy part is a lot of people are acting, you know, when it comes down to it, I mean, honestly, in this space, it's just so much entertainment. People will tell you something that they don't naturally do in their lives. The information in which they will tell you that, you know, being wholesome and doing this is the way to live, and they don't do it themselves. You know, telling men, I can't take this and I want to do this for my woman. Meanwhile, while you're going in the house, your wife is talking to you reckless, but when you're on the internet, you give that same lashing on the internet because you can't do it to your wife. And the vice versa appeals with the men too. You know, the women do this all on the internet and no, they don't do this when they go home. But that's the way of the world far as acting. I mean, we can give our 50 cent or whatever 2 cent about this whole scenario with the Will and Jada situation, but like I keep telling people, I'm more focused on the money. I'm trying to get everybody to understand you need money, you need life insurance, you need the budget. The biggest part in the community and throughout, just not even in the Black community, just throughout all, is budgeting. A lot of people don't take the time. They've always said if you want to hide something from people, put it in the book. Now the biggest thing is it's out in the open on the internet, and people are so like docile and dumbfounded to the point where they don't even want to do the research to find out how to be better. They want to complain about their situation. They don't want to be better because they don't want to put in the work. They really don't want to put in the work. And we're not putting in the work. Therefore, you're going to be in the same place. There's a lot of people that, you know, when it comes down to it, they give all the advice in the world and won't even take their own advice for face value. You know, actually, one day I might do that. I might pull up my life insurance and actually show you the companies that I have. You know, reason to, but I'm gonna show you the work. A lot of people can't show you their work. You know, I can show you my account where I probably don't have no money in there at times. But that's the thing. My money's steady rotating in and out, bills and everything. My savings ain't where it should be. My investments aren't where it should be. But the point of it is, I'm steady working. I'm steady learning. I'm steady growing, you know. And that's the biggest thing with a lot of people. they have to get that understanding. You know, go ahead and do the research. You know, have an understanding when it comes down to it. Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean, outside looking in. I mean, I had this talk on Sheila E. the Quiet Storm panel yesterday, and we was talking about the situation. Uh, even with she's up in the chat. Jessica, there she on her channel. You know, she has a lot of different things where she talks about, pleasing in the bedroom and all that stuff. And everybody wants to kind of put themselves in this situation in which they can tell someone else how to move and how to behave. Even shout out to the number one guy in the talk. Hey, I go on his channel. We constantly have we have the men talk, we have the open panel talking about people, having an understanding about life. But the biggest thing is who's willing to learn and listen. Even with Wellness with Frugal Mama, she does her motivation every morning. She works out, constantly. She's steady working out while she's talking and going through things. So like the biggest picture with me is having an understanding. It takes, time and energy to do that every single day and develop yourself while, giving the entertainment and the learning, the knowledge to the people, you know. And when it comes down to it, you know, hey, even with 12, she gives her insight on people, and hey, like I said, a lot of people in my chat. Absalom PLP TV, shout out to him. Even with Absalom, the way he does his thing, I'm steady over there. Absalom gives good information, great content. A lot of other people I'm seeing in the chat, I'm just seeing for the first time. Charles, shout out to you. But when it comes down to it, I go on to advertise people channel. You know, that's why I do my short clips to actually show people's channel and let people be the judge. Just like in a relationship, I can't tell you that this person is the best person like I'm a matchmaker. It's up to you to make that decision. All I do is just put the information out, put people's channel out, and anything that I see within the video, I take a clip of it and I put it on the channel, on my channel. I'm going to start putting in my shorts to where you start going into the category where all my shorts are in there to where you could actually look at people's channel and see the worth. The value that I get might be different value for you, but just having an understanding that we're getting some type of substance from channels. You know, whether you don't like the information that's given, that's cool. You don't have to watch it. No one's forcing you to. But at the same time, the notion is, like I tell my wife, how do I know any restaurant's good if I don't try it or get any reviews to see how the restaurant is myself? Everybody's taste buds are different. I always go across nice little restaurants. I see the reviews on them. I look from the worst reviews starting off and, just budget out because a lot of reviews are paid. But to the extent, you know, when it comes down to it, the numbers don't lie. You might just had a bad experience. But anyhow, I'm about to get ready to jump off of this. And about to go over here to Gold Professor. And look over his channel. I get my morning inspiration and everything. But like I said, I'm gonna go back to my financial talk, man, because basically we gotta get life insurance, we gotta take care of our kids, we gotta, move forth to the next generation, you know. And shout out to Alonzo Hall, the All-Star Advisor. Like I'm always pumping this channel, but the simple fact is when it comes down to it, he give you financial tips. I mean, honestly, I've said this before. I did the research on him. I looked at his videos, seeing what he brought to the table. So when it was time for me to get my insurance through him, it was simple. I didn't have to, go through a trial. I got my insurance that day. You know, I was already ready. I knew what he represented. I knew the things that I wanted. He actually gave me a little more than I expected from him, and added things, that I really didn't think I could get. But at the same time, it was all about having that sit down and talk with him. We did the review, went over the policies, and right when we was about to agree to get this one policy, ended up getting something else different that benefited me more. So, oh man, shout out to Frank, man. What's going on, man? Like I said, I really don't shout people names out, but I actually park right now because I'm always moving, moving out and about. So I really don't check my phone like that. I just highlight and keep going. But yeah, like I said, man, shout out to everybody that's came into the building. I'm about to get ready to go over here and get into some things with Gold Professor. And y'all can, look up his channel, Gold Professor. And everybody in the chat actually pull their channels up. And like I said, I'm gonna be doing a lot of shorts, letting everybody see people's channel. And you judge for yourself. If you like the content, go there. That's all I can do. You know, if anybody, has an interest, they're gonna go there. If not, I mean, it is what it is. But the point of it is, you might have to change your content up, or do something that better suits the people. And like I said, I know my content with finance is not going to be the biggest, but at the same time, when it comes down to it, it's going to be the heaviest. Because it's food for thought. And like I say, I'm about to get ready to get out of here this time. And like always, we here and we gone.